Hello, and thank you for watching this video. I'm Casey Cook with Biz Technology Solutions. And with a lot of us being forced to work from home just because of the shelter-in-place orders we have and having to deal with COVID-19, we wanted to send out kind of a reminder to help you with spotting phishing emails. We see a lot of attackers out there that are using COVID-19 and even some stimulus checks as ways to scam people into clicking on links and opening documents in their email. So we want to provide 5 important questions that'll kind of help you spot phishing emails in your inbox. So number one, does the email address coincide with the display name? This is a very common tactic and one that you will see more often than not. Always verify that the display name matches what the email address is. So with the display name, and what I mean by the display name is actually the email management support. You see they actually misspelled management here. And then on this example, we have Mike Shafani. But then when we look at the actual email addresses, you'll see this one is supposedly from Office 365, but then it's coming from a Hotmail account. And this one, supposedly coming from Mike Shafani, who is the president at BizTech, actually has Mary in the name, and it's coming from gmail.com. So we can make this display name say whatever we want to. So always make sure that when you're looking at your emails, you make sure that the display name and the email address match what you're expecting. Number two is the company domain name correct? And what I mean by domain name, I mean anything that comes after the @ symbol in an email address. So there's some common tactics out there, what they call cyber squatting, is where these scammers are going to register domain names that look similar to what a company uses, or maybe is just slightly misspelled, but if you look at them quickly, you may not notice the difference. So in these examples here, you can see Office 365 notifications.com. So if I sent you a notification that looked like it was from Office 365, and you saw that this was the domain name for that email, you may think, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. When in reality, anything coming from Office 365 is going to come from Microsoft.com, not this random domain name that was registered by or can be registered by anybody. Very similar with bankpaymentreceived.com. Obviously, this may look legitimate if you don't know any better, if you're just kind of quickly glancing at it. But if we look at this, this is something that could be registered by anybody. Another one is typo squatting. So this is going to be misspellings in domain names to make it look very similar to what it is. So if we just kind of glance at them, we're not going to notice that, hey, there's this extra O in google.com, or hey, this isn't actually amazon.com. There's an R and an N here that they've kind of pushed together to make it look like it's Amazon. So you can be very watchful for that. So number three is this an ordinary email? And what I mean by that is when you receive an email, is this something that you usually are used to seeing? Is it a person that usually emails you? Do they usually request personal or financial information? And does it look like something that you have seen in the past? With this example here, it says SharePoint, but then over on this side it says fax message. So okay, that's kind of weird. Let's say I don't usually get emails from SharePoint, and I don't usually receive faxes. So I'm not going to click on any of these links because it's probably not trustworthy. Um, and then in some of the past examples we've seen, if the CEO or president of your company emails you and you don't usually email with that person, I would be very, very cautious of that because again, somebody could go on LinkedIn and pull up that information, pull the CEO or president's name, and then use that as the display name. So be very, very cautious. And you're always going to be best to go to the source. So email can be kind of untrustworthy. So if you receive an email from that person and you're worried about getting in trouble, I would just text them, call them, just walk up to that person directly and ask them like, hey, did you send this email? Number four is the email poorly written? So a lot of times these attackers are going to be from different countries where English isn't going to be their native language. And so they can very easily use the spell checker to check the spelling of each word, but the grammar is going to be a little bit different. So you can see in a few examples here where it says, I need to update my paycheck direct deposit. Usually we would probably see a period there instead of a comma, because then they capitalize that next word saying, do I need to furnish you my new banking info to update? Again, some words there we probably wouldn't be used to seeing. Just kind of reading this, we can see like, okay, this doesn't sound like it's a native English speaker. And then the example below that, you can see in the very first sentence, herewith we'd like to pay your attention to the recent amendments in the FDIC temporary coverage. Again, some words there that we probably wouldn't see in normal plain English. So I would question that immediately and avoid this email altogether. And last but not least is, do the links in the email look legitimate? So you can see here we have an example where It says HTTPS, that S meaning that it would be a secure connection, and it's taking us to woodgrovebank.com. Obviously, if I saw this link and I bank with Woodgrove Bank, I would be like, okay, seems legitimate. Um, but when I hover over the link, it actually is taking me to an HTTP site, meaning that it's not encrypted, and it's also taking us to this random IP address. So if I received an email and I hovered over this link, if I do bank with Woodgrove Bank, I'm going to go directly to the source. I'm going to go to woodgrovebank.com in my browser. I'm not going to click on this link, but because it's going to take me to this random IP address, so it's very, very untrustworthy. So again, thank you for watching this video. We hope those tips can help you spot phishing emails. If you have any questions or ever curious about one, feel free to call us or email us at info@biztechnologysolutions.com. Thank you.